Okay, well, it's almost dark, but there is a project I want to get started on Freddy so that we can have it ready to go whenever it's nice daylight and sunshiny time. So we'll talk about that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This here is Freddy, the 1450 Fiat. And if you remember way back when, the pre-cleaner on Freddy was messed up. It was totally toast. It had a hole in it. It was missing the bottom screen part. And so we found this one, which is technically off of like a Ford 5000 maybe. And the reason was because it was the 2 1/4 inch whatevers. I looked all over. I'm trying to set this down out of my way now because I think you know what's coming. But I looked all over and I could not find one. 2 1/4, couldn't get it reproduction, whatever. And then the other day, I found this. The original style thing, 2 1/4 inches. However, usually on your row crop tractors, the pipe comes all the way up and then your pre-cleaner top goes on that and whatever. Because of the nature of Freddy having to open the hood, the way it was made is it had a short pipe made in it and then it set on there. So I had to get a piece of pipe, which I managed to do, and I wanted to do a test fit before we cut it. So this is just a piece of 2 1/4 inch tailpipe. And in the pictures you see, it does in fact look like, what am I trying to say? It looks like this starts right above the flare of the piece of pipe. And so I think, looking at it now, I think that's what we're gonna do. I brought some stuff to try to measure it and see what I wanted. But I think when that's on there, use your imagination. Maybe do it like this. I think that would be closer to acceptable of what we want. So, how do we measure this? Well, we don't want to go too, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to go too short right away. So we're going to have to figure out the protrusion of this and then measure and make a mark and saw it off. So the reason I'm doing this tonight is because obviously this is not painted and I want to paint that piece of pipe. So I'm going to try to figure this out as best I can. It looks like about 1 1/8 inch protrusion into the center of this is what I'm saying. Now, how would that correspond to the bottom of this? Well, there's going to be some eyeballing here, I'm thinking. I'm wondering if you just, more or less, if I just saw it off even with the top, I think it's going to do it. If I just make a mark like right here, and then saw that off, I think that will do what I want. And if it's a little taller, I guess that doesn't hurt either. We can always tweak it. In other words, I can saw a little off the end, or I can do whatever I have to do. But we can't make it longer again. So we got to make sure we leave us enough that we get her done. But I think if I do that, I think it will go together fine. So I will get that sawed and get this stuff all painted. This piece did not come green. It came grayish colored. So I don't know if that's just primer and it never was, or if it came off some other thing. But either way, it's the size I need. And then the way it works is it slipped on there. The original, I think, was, I'll have to look back at the pictures again, but I think it just had splits in it and then a hose clamp around it. But it might be fine to just sit on there like this, because I don't think that would pull off of there myself. yeah, I mean, that's on there pretty good. The only thing is we got to make sure we don't get ourselves in a predicament of can't get it back off again. Because this will be harder to get loose once we have it all together. Because what'll probably more than likely happen is we'll keep pulling the top off if this is too stiff. And we don't want that. So, you know, maybe looser is better. I may also consider cutting just a shade off of this to get it cleaned up again, because it's pretty rough. I don't know. I'll think on it and decide what I want to do. But I'm excited I got this. Yeah. I'm using my imagination. That'll be more correct. I had to pay dearly for it, more than what I think it's worth. Had to pay like $200 for it on an online auction, but that size does not come up often, so you do what you got to do. But I'm going to get that, like I said, ready to go, and then someday when it's nice weather, we'll put her back together, and that was what you'll see in the rest of the video right after this. All right, so we're going to let this percolate, but I think it's going to look pretty when we're done. The cup appears to be in good shape, so we'll probably just give that a clean up. Looks actually like somebody painted around it once before. Do not use brake clean on plastic. This will melt, I can promise you that. Anyway, once again, the GoPro decides to die, but we'll get the rest of this cleaned up and put back together. The screen that's behind me drawing, so I think we'll have something when we're done. And little Freddy will be one more step closer to the way he should be. All right, it's the next day, and I would say that it's adequately dry enough to go ahead and try to reassemble. I might be wrong on that, but been wrong before. Oh, it's glued to the, that's nice. So if we do this right, we'll scuff it all up and make a big mess of it. Yeah, I think it could go on a little more. All right. If we go up there, it's a little taller than I had anticipated it to be, but that may not be a bad thing. It could go down farther, but it's just not wanting to play ball. All right, well, I'd like to say that was without incident, but I ended up knocking the center screw out of it and had to pull that back up in there, and it's got a knurl on it to hold it up in there, so I hope that it will stay, and that if ever I clean out the cup, it doesn't just immediately fall down and ruin my life. But that wouldn't be the first time something like that happened. Now, our last order of business, I suppose, is putting this screen around here. That's pretty. So I think it's ready for little Freddy. Let's go out there and try her out, see what happens. Freddy, let's give you a try here, pal. Just sticking the magnet right to your hood. Out with the old and on with the older. More appropriate air cleaner. I'm thinking that's a little bit high from what I wanted, but that may end up being what it is. Oop, can't do that. I'm saying that with the way Freddy is, that's about as far down as I'm going to get it. How does this compare with the original? Well, the one I had on there, this one's just slightly taller, which I guess doesn't matter. It's more of a matter of, can I stand the looks of it type of thing. I don't know. I don't know if I should saw a little more off and make it shorter. It kind of seems like maybe that's what I want to do, but what do I know? It'll work either way. We can always live with this for a while and see how we like it, and then go back and change it later. But I'm thinking that it's just a little bit much. Like if I had this down to here, that would definitely help. Which it would if it would have went all the way in, but it just wouldn't. This is the kind of thing that's so silly, you know. Average Joe would slap that on there and he wouldn't think twice about this, but I'm not convinced that that's exactly what I want, but I just think that they should be slightly smaller. If I look at that picture from the very original one that I saw, and if I can find that picture, I'll put it back in here. But I was thinking that one I saw in person, it was all the way down, like to the bend of the metal. Now I'm looking, I'm seeing if I can even find that picture back, because that's been a while since that was up there, and I looked at it, and I'm guessing that now I'm not going to find it because I'm looking for it, you know. There's lots of pictures of Freddy on here. Okay, that's slightly more better. I'm not going to be able to permanently fix it because I can't get that pipe back out, and it's not worth destroying a brand new pipe just for silliness sake. So we're just going to live with it. I did trim this down a slight bit, and what that does is it lets me get it all the way down, because the end of that was totally mangled up. Then of course I didn't cut it square, and I had to do it more than once, but it was pretty bad shape. So that makes it slip on there nice, and I don't think it'll jump off, but we'll check it in the warm weather and see if that don't do what we want it to do. But I like it. I think it's more correct to what Freddy is supposed to have. I got it pretty close to the height that I had it at, you know. I don't know. There's no right or wrong, really. It's just one of those things that when you look at it every day, might make a difference, but I think that's acceptable. I mean, yeah, it's correct. I guess if I wanted it to go down farther, that's what I was looking at. I could saw some of this off, but I don't think that it's going to gain me any more, because then the top of the other piece will hit the flare. You know, that's another way I could cheat and do it. I could get a flaring tool and expand this a little more, loosen the clamp, and probably could do that, but it ain't worth it. It's good enough. Oh yeah, if you sit on there, it doesn't really even obstruct your line of sight hardly at all. I mean, it's not going to affect anything. Being down another ½ an inch is not going to make or break us on that deal. But yeah, that was pretty sweet to find that, because it's in excellent shape. I mean, all I had to do is add a piece of pipe and it worked pretty slick. So that's the way to go. I saw a tractor, a 1450 the other day. Somebody had cut out the hood on either sides of that hole and just made it a slot all the way down, so you didn't have to take that off. You know, they probably should have just done something like that from the factory, but as long as this slips on and off fairly easily, it's not a big deal, so we can roll with that. But yeah, another Freddy project that didn't take that long, and maybe wasn't that interesting, but we're one more step to completeness now. So yeah, I got something else though we can work on real quick, a piece that came in the mail, and we'll go try to put that on what it goes on. So give me a second to gather up the supplies we'll need for that, and I'll be right back. All right, for our next piece to put on something, mainly so we don't lose it, even though we're a long ways from using it, We gotta get to the other side of this combine. Maybe, possibly, somewhat, kind of. Yeah, so I talked about how that is a piece of garbage and it always broke out. And on the old electronic bay, I found this. Listed as a planter drive hub, but I knew what it was. It's an unchoker hub for a 500 series combine. So I'm going to try to get this red one off, slide that one on and make sure it's good to go. And we'll hang that one on the wall for emergencies only. See, the beauty of this is where I have you, you're going to be shaking the whole entire time. Because I'm not too smart. And I see that this one, I broke off the square things. So I just used 3/8 bolts, which I don't recommend because they don't always stay tight. However, this doesn't really have to do anything important 99% of the time. It's just along for the ride. So there's that. Come on, you Knudsen. I'm having a heck of a time. Right there. Now this should just come off of here, or it used to, because you'd have to take it off to change speeds all the time. I fully bet that it'll put up a struggle now, because it's been on here so long without movement. Maybe I don't have this backed out enough. Let's get back down enough. Come on. Oh. Why did I assume that it was going to be easy? Just because it always used to be. I'll just take these all the way loose. Just in case there's not one way. Where's out your arms wearing all this 50 pounds of coats? Frustrating. It's coming. We're losing motivation. It's fine. We're just, like I said, we're not the brightest bulb in the box, but it's gonna fight till the bitter end, the whole freaking way. So stupid that it won't just play nice. Come on, so we can love you. There. Holy Knudsen! Why was that so hard? The shaft is kind of boogered a little bit. I don't remember that. Maybe it didn't have this unchoker hub and I put this on. I don't remember. But at any rate, that's that. Let's make sure now that this little jobber is gonna go. You know, we did all the right things, like not prepare, not make sure anything was loose first. We just went after it full bore. You know, we can't see what we're doing. There we go. Nice loose fit, that's what we want. We don't want to just hammer her home. We're going to, but we shouldn't. I don't think we need to do that yet. I'm gonna go get a file and I'm gonna clean up on that a little bit because I don't like that. And I might even get some anti-seizure medication and put that on there and see if that fixes her up. All right. What did I do? Get grease on it? That's really good. Sure, getting everything cleaned up. This is a mistake right here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You know, because all it's gonna do is make a mess and then probably harden and never ever come off again. No, look at how much better that goes on there now, right? Except my key isn't going in my keyway. Why did that? There we go. Oh, well, Canute's into you too, buddy. I guess we'll have to pull that back off and try it again. Not really sure why it's playing this game called Don't Fit. Well, if I do this, that's not enough yet. Alright. Let's try that. I gotta get that key pushed in there. It'll come on and off now. I'm not worried about that. It's just a matter of, you know, my key wasn't pushed all the way up in the slot. But it slides on there. Much more better. See? Comes right off there, goes right on. I'm happy with it. Let's tighten this sucker down. I think we got her licked now, fellers. Ah! Ouch! Hand popped. So, you know it's tight when the torque wrench in your body clicks. Sure. Round it off a little. That helps you next time. Yep, see, that'll help that next time. But that's a lot more solider now, and it will be much easier should the need arise ever that we would have to unplug it. It will be possible now without frustration, because man, you'd get it almost unplugged sometimes and then you'd start pulling the side out of that other thing, and yeah, so that was a cost-cutting measure that they screwed up on, and they should have not done that. They should have just kept using this kind, because this is a lot more heavy. So yeah, well, I think that's two things. That should be enough maybe for a video. So we'll see how that edits out and put that together. And as always, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. That doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me out. And leave a comment. Yeah, tell me what you think about the stuff, or what project you're waiting to see next, because I got like 19 things going at the same time. So I'm trying to work them all in as I get a minute. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.